We are going to read chapters 22 through 24 of Sideways Stories from Wayside School. And excuse my appearance, I just got back from the pool. Happy Memorial Day! Alright, 22. The Three Erics. In Miss Jules' class, there were 3 children named Eric. Eric Fry, Eric Bacon, and Eric Ovens. They were known throughout the school for being fat. That's not very nice. Eric Fry sat at this end of the room. Eric Bacon sat in the middle of the room, and Eric Ovens sat at the end of the room. There was a joke around Wayside School that if all 3 Erics were ever at the same end of the room at the same time, the whole school would tip over. Eric Bacon hated jokes like that. That's not surprising. After all, he wasn't even fat. In fact, he was the skinniest kid in Miss Jules' class, but nobody seemed to notice. The other 2 Erics were fat, and so everyone just thought all Erics were fat. "But I'm not fat," Eric Bacon insisted. "What's your name?" asked Jason. "Eric," said Eric Bacon. "Then you're fat," Jason concluded. And pretty soon, skitty little Eric Bacon, the skinniest kid in Miss Jules' class, had the nickname Fatso. Wow, these are mean kids. Eric Fry really was fat. He was also the best athlete in Miss Jules' class. His body was solid muscle. However, nobody ever noticed. The other 2 Erics weren't very good at sports. Eric Ovens was clumsy. Eric Fatso Bacon was a good athlete for his size, but because he was so skinny, he didn't have much power. So naturally, everybody just assumed that Eric Fry was also clumsy and weak. After all, his name was Eric. Whenever the other kids chose up teams, Eric Fry was the last one picked. They never noticed his home runs or the fabulous catches he made. Like all great athletes, he made the impossible look easy. Of course, the other kids did notice the one time that he dropped the ball. Eric Fry was playing right field. Terrence belted a deep fly to left. Eric Fry raced all the way across the field after the ball, and at the last second dived at it. He caught it in mid-air on his fingertips, but as they hit the ground, the ball squirted loose. "Well, what do you expect from Butterfingers?" said Stephen. And since that time, Eric Fry has had the nickname Butterfingers. Eric Ovens was the nicest person in Miss Jules' class. He treated everyone equally and always had a kind word to say, but because his name was Eric, everyone thought he was mean. Fatso was mean because everyone called him Fatso. Butterfingers was mean because he always had to play right field. So naturally, everyone just assumed that Eric Ovens was also mean. They called him Crab Apple. "Good morning, Alison," said Eric Ovens. "How are you?" "Lay off, Crab Apple, will you?" answered Alison. "If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all." All 3 of the Erics had nicknames. It was better that way. Otherwise, when someone said, "Hey, Eric," no one knew to whom he was talking. One time all the Erics would answer, and the next time none of them would answer. But when someone said, "Hey, Crab Apple," then Eric Ovens knew they were talking to him. And if someone said, "Hey, Butterfingers," Eric Fry knew they meant him. And when someone said, "Hey, Fatso," Eric Bacon knew that he was being called. Seems like they could have come up with some nicer nicknames, huh? Chapter 23, Alison. Alison had pretty blonde hair and always wore a sky blue windbreaker. Her windbreaker was the same color as her eyes. She was best friends with Rondi. Rondi had blonde hair too, but she was missing her 2 front teeth. Alison had all of her teeth. Alison used to say that she knocked Rondi's teeth out. Alison was very pretty, so all the boys in Miss Jules' class teased her, especially Jason. But Alison said, "Leave me alone or I'll knock your teeth out, like I did Rondi's." The boys didn't bother her after that. One day Alison brought a tangerine for lunch. She took the peel off in one piece. Miss Mush, the lunch teacher, walked up to her. "Alison, may I have your tangerine?" she asked. Miss Mush always gave food to the children, so Alison was happy to give her tangerine to Miss Mush. Miss Mush shoved it in her mouth and swallowed it in less than 4 seconds. Alison left the lunchroom and walked down to the library. The lunchroom was on the 15th story. The library was on the 7th. Alison already had her book. She just went to the library because it was nice and quiet there. The librarian walked up to Alison. "What are you reading?" she asked. Alison told her the name of the book. "That sounds like a good book," said the librarian. "I've never read that one. May I borrow it?" The librarian always lent books to children. Alison was glad to be able to return the favor. She gave the librarian the book and then walked down the stairs, outside to the playground. All of Alison's friends were playing freeze tag. Alison didn't feel like playing. She reached into the pocket of her sky blue windbreaker and took out a tennis ball. She bounced it a couple times on the ground. Louis came up to her. "Hi, Alison," he said. "May I play with your tennis ball?" Louis always gave balls to the children. Alison happily gave her ball to Louis. Louis threw the ball all the way to the other side of the playground. Then he went chasing after it. Alison didn't feel like doing anything. Jason ran up and tagged her. "You're frozen," he said. "Get out of here before I knock your teeth out," said Alison. Jason shrugged his shoulders and left. Alison went back inside and up the 30 flights of stairs to Miss Jules's room. The lunch period wasn't over yet, but Alison didn't feel like doing anything else. She had given her food to the lunch teacher, her book to the librarian, and her ball to the yard teacher. She went inside her classroom. Miss Jules was there. "Oh, Alison, I'm glad you're here," said Miss Jules. "I'm having trouble with an arithmetic problem. Maybe you can help." "Sure," said Alison. Miss Jules always helped the children with their problems, so Alison was happy to help. "How do you spell chair?" asked Miss Jules. "Chair," said Alison. "Yes, that's right," said Miss Jules. "I knew it wasn't Chare, but I couldn't remember what it was." "Well, that's not an arithmetic problem," said Alison. "That's spelling." "Yes, you are right again," said Miss Jules. "I always get the two mixed up." The bell rang. The lunch period was over. Alison could hear the other children running up the stairs. "Alison," said Miss Jules, "you learned a very important secret today, and I don't want you to tell any of the other children, not even Rondi." "What was that?" asked Alison. She didn't even know she had learned a secret. She loved secrets. "You learned that children are really smarter than their teachers," said Miss Jules. "Oh, that's no secret," said Alison. "Everybody knows that." Chapter 24, Damien. Damien had hazel eyes with a little black dot in the middle of each of them. The dots were called pupils. So was Damien. He was a pupil in Miss Jules' class. That means a student. Miss Jules was about to show the class a movie. She turned out the lights. When it was dark, Damien's pupils got bigger. Those are the black parts in the very middle of your eye. "Damien," said Miss Jules, "run downstairs and ask Louis if he'd like to see the movie with us." Damien ran down the 30 flights of stairs to the playground. He stepped outside as Louis was hooking up a tetherball. "Hey, Louis," Damien called, "do you want to see a movie in Miss Jules' class?" Louis rubbed his chin. "What movie?" he asked. Damien shrugged his shoulders. "I don't know," he said. "I'll be right back." Damien ran all the way back up the stairs to the 30th story. "Louis wants to know what movie," said Damien. "Does he want to know the name of the movie or what the movie is about?" asked Miss Jules. "I don't know," said Damien. "I'll ask him." Damien raced back down the stairs and out to the playground. "Louis, do you want to know the name of the movie or what the movie is about?" he asked. "The name," said Louis. "Okay," said Damien. Damien hurried back up the 30 flights of stairs. He took the steps 2 at a time. "He wants to know the name," said Damien. "Turtles," said Miss Jules. Damien turned around, took a deep breath, then ran back down the stairs. "Turtles," Damien told Louis. "Hey, that might be good," said Louis. "What's it about?" "I'm not sure," said Damien. "I'll find out." Damien raced back up the stairs, but first he stopped to take a drink of water. "What's it about, Miss Jules?" asked Damien. "Turtles," said Miss Jules. Damien rushed back down the stairs to tell Louis. "Turtles," said Damien. "No thanks," said Louis. "I don't like turtles. They are too slow." Damien lowered his head and slowly walked up the 30 flights of stairs. His legs were sore, he could hardly breathe, and his side ached. By the time he got to Miss Jules's class, the movie was over. All right, class, said Miss Jules. I want everybody to take out a piece of paper and a pencil and write something about turtles. Damien had missed the movie, but he still could have written something about turtles. Turtles are too slow. But now he couldn't find his pencil. This just wasn't his day. What's the matter, Damien? Asked Miss Jules. I can't find my pencil, said Damien. Class, Damien's pencil is missing, Miss Jules announced. What did it look like, Damien? She asked. It was long and yellow, said Damien. It had a black point at one end and a red eraser at the other. I found it, said Todd. Here, by the blackboard. Yes, that's it, said Damien. No, there it is, in the corner by the wastebasket, said Crabapple. Maybe that's it, said Damien. Here it is, said John. It's been in my desk the whole time. No, here it is in my hand, said Joe. I found it, said Rondi. Here it is, said Alison. I have it, laughed DJ. I found it, said Myron. Well, which one is yours, Damien? Asked Miss Jules. Damien studied each pencil. They all look like mine, he said. Fortunately, at that moment, Louis walked into the classroom. He handed Damien a pencil. You dropped this when you were telling me about the movie, said Louis. Thanks, said Damien. Okay, class, said Miss Jules. So that we have no more mix-ups, I want everybody to write his name on his pencil. Damien spent the rest of the day trying to write his name on his pencil. Damien's pencil couldn't write on itself. It was just like his beautiful hazel eyes with the black dots in the middle. They could see everything except themselves. That'd be kind of hard to get one pencil to write on itself.